Thank you, Ms. Miller. Perfect. Thank you. It's taking us to the live stream now. It's taking us to the live stream now. Well, I don't know why it's doing that though. Okay, I'm gonna start recording. So we are now live streaming, y'all. I'm gonna start recording. What? Okay, let's start recording. So we are now live streaming, y'all. I'm gonna start recording.
Is that feedback on your end or
That's
us?
on my end, and I'm not sure why it's doing that this time. Oh, you know what? I know why. Let me go to YouTube. Sure. Got it fixed. All right, here we go. About to start the recording, y'all. Thank you, everybody. Recording is about to start. We have recorded and we are live streaming. We are now ready to begin. Sir Chair, I will turn it over to you to get us rolling.
Good evening. Welcome to Young and Middle School's Go Team meeting, where we'll follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you and publicly noticed. I would like to remind everyone that this is a meeting of the Go Team. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. For members of the Go Team, please identify yourself when you speak. I'm pleased to call the meeting of Young Middle School's Go Team to order at 5:33. Our first order of business is to call roll. The secretary will now take the roll.
Okay, Roxanne Marsh, Andrea Roberts. No, I see her name on the thing. So I'm going to say.
Yes, I'm here. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm pressing the wrong button. Sorry.
No problem. Donnie Newell, Jeremy Carr,
Present.
Eddie Stevens,
Present.
Shayla Pryor,
Present.
Jacquees Hargrove,
Here.
Kelvin Walston,
Present.
and Ayanna Miller here.
All right. The team will only be able to take official action if a quorum is present. Ms. Miller, is there a quorum present?
She's now there. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Our first order of business is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you and copies are here. Are there any changes to the agenda? May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please say A, so the secretary can record your vote.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All
Thank
opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? Please say abstain. All right.
Can I get who seconded the motion?
Ms. Hargrove.
Okay, thank you.
We will review and approve the meeting's minutes from our last meeting. The minutes have been provided to you. Are there any corrections? All right, no corrections. All right. If there are no further corrections, may I have a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes?
I would like to make a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes.
A second?
I'll second that motion. Ms. Pryor seconds that motion.
Thank you.
All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Are there any abstentions? Please say abstain. Okay, let me pull up. All right, our first action item is our 2025-2030 strategic plan development.
All right, I will take us away. Somebody give me a thumbs up if you can see a slide that says JCY. Okay, perfect. I see you are real perfect. All right, so let me walk us through this. We are now, good evening to everybody. We are now in our strategic plan development stage, and this is our preliminary, our first meeting to actually start talking about the strategic plan. So a lot of the information I'm going to share with you, this will be the first time, but the next couple of meetings will be to start locking in on our strategic plan for 2025 to 2030. So let's go on and jump on in. Well, we've already seen the agenda and we've actually approved our action items, which this will be our last. There are no further action items beyond the ones that we've already done thus far. So let's jump on into, again, our 2030 strategic plan development. So as we start thinking about and talking about the strategic plan for the next few meetings that we're going to have, just want everyone to just be grounded in this right here. When we think about Atlanta Public Schools, the who we are, it's Atlanta's public school system. So we are Atlanta Public Schools, but we are also Atlanta's public school system, meaning that we are serving the community of for the city of Atlanta. So that's who we are, and we're taking ownership of that. The why we are here and why we exist is in order to educate and to empower Atlanta students in order to shape the future. So everyone keep that in mind as we start talking about all of our goals and everything that we're trying to plan for the next few years for the school as well as for the district. As we think and talk about these things, want us also to be grounded in the fact that we are a community of believers and getting back to the basics. So Atlanta Public Schools, we are those that believe in our students, believe in our community, believe in our staff, so that we can get back to the basics to serve everybody with excellence, with dignity, with just profound level of just everything that they're needing in order to be successful. As you see in here, and I will not read this entire slide, you'll see some key features on here that talk specifically about this, such as, our strength is our team. That's where we find our strength in having a strong team. Like this Go Team, a strong Go Team helps us to make strong decisions, which helps us to make a strong school. Also, our responsibility is shared. No one person makes any sort of decisions or owns the responsibility by themselves. It's a shared responsibility here. Our system is efficient and effective. That's how we know that we're going to make great progress. And then we are strengthening we are strengthening our instructional core. We are caring for every single child. And then finally, we are sparking student curiosity, because we know that's where the magic happens, when we start getting students interested and curious about how things happen. That's when solving happens. That's when critical thinking happens. So now the district has what we call some KPIs. That's what the principals call it. These are key performance indicators. And that's just a fancy word for data. Data to say that either we made it or we didn't make it. Either we succeeded or we didn't succeed. That's what the key performance indicators are, and they are attached to goals. So you have a goal, and the key performance indicator tells you whether you met the goal or not. So what I want us to focus on right here, again, I won't read every single piece of the slide, but there are 3 KPIs or key performance indicators. And there's one for elementary, there's one for middle, and then there's one for high school. For elementary, it talks about that third grade student proficiency level in ELA. For middle school, which is the highlighted one right here in the middle, it's talking about by 2030, we will increase the percentage of 8th grade students scoring proficient or above in math on the Georgia milestones. So that's the part that we own as a middle school. We are really strongly and keenly focused on math and increasing that by 2030 to do our part to make sure that we've increased it by 20 percentage points. You'll see a little bit more about that a little bit later on. And then in high school, it's focusing on the increase of the students meeting at least one CCRPI college and career readiness indicator and increasing that by 20 points. As you look on the right side of this slide right here, you're going to see some of the KPIs. On the left side, you'll see where it's in the red. Those are the actual key performance indicators where we stand right now as a district, not as a school, but as a district. And then on the right, on the black part where you see is black, that's what the goal is for 2030. So for example, the KPI for absenteeism, right now as a district, it's 68.8% of our students that are not chronically absent. The goal is to be at 80% of the students as a district that are not chronically absent. And then another indication, another example. Sense of belonging. The goal, well, right now we stand at 60% of our students that feel a strong sense of belonging, and that's per data. That's per some survey data that's been done by the DOE. But now the goal is that 75% of our students by the year 2030 have a strong sense of belonging. So you start seeing that their goals, we see where we are right now, and then we see whether the data is going to tell us whether we've met these specific goals or not, again, for our key performance indicators. So now let's jump into our strategic plan development for the school. And again, as we're talking about that, we're really leaning in. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second as well. We're leaning into our mission and our vision as well as the past strategic goals, because we're now kind of exiting the last 5-year strategic plan that we had as we get ready to develop the new one. So we started to think about what is our purpose? What are we doing every single day at the school to meet our goals? You know, what results do we want to attain in order to see that we're meeting these goals? We also have key focus areas with objectives for each one of these key focus areas. So where there's a goal, there's also very specific things that operationalize how we are going to get there. That's basically what that speaks to. And again, we just talked about key performance indicators, which is the data. It tells us how are we going to measure whether we made it or not. And then as you get down to the bottom of that triangle, you start seeing where there's strategies. In other words, what are the actions that we are taking? And then the actions that then, like specifically, like what does that mean? Like if we're saying here are the strategies, for example, that we are going to increase our reading level by 10% by the end of the year, then what are the actual actions in the school that we are taking with those key individuals? What are their roles in this to actually reach the strategy, to achieve the strategies and then ultimately reach the goals? So that's what we're going to start digging into a little bit today and then further on over the next few meetings. But for the Go team focus on this, which that's this team right here, this is the part of that triangle that we focus on: the mission, the vision, the strategic goals, and then those focus areas along with the objectives. That's the part that we really create and, you know, just hammer down on to make sure that we are in alignment with the school's strategic plan and the district strategic plan. So when we talk about the overview for the strategic plan, here's the purpose right here, you all, right here in black. Well, I was going to say black and white, but black and red, to cascade the district strategic plan down to the school level. So in other words, whatever the district strategic plan is, our school strategic, I'm having a hard time saying strategic. Our school strategic plan should match that, and it should be helping the district to achieve that strategic plan as well. So it should be uniform. It should be calibrated. It should be, you know, where it's a collaboration between our plan and the district's plan. This is going to help create alignment, reduce confusion, and simplify our efforts. In other words, we're not doing something different than what the district is doing. That's what that speaks to. The timeline. Our school's 2030 strategic goals and objectives should be updated, approved, and ranked by the time we get to our January 2026 meeting. So you see, between October and January, that's our runway in which we're going to talk about the strategic plan and then ultimately finalize it and then make sure that it is in alignment with the district strategic plan. The key resources that we are going to review, and everyone's seen this, anybody who's been on the Go team before, which is most of us, you've seen these two documents right here in number 1 right there. That's the current plan that we are operating from, that we've been operating from for the last few years, quite honestly. So we're going to be looking at that quite a bit. We're also going to look at our continuous improvement plan goals, which we basically have 3 CIP goals or continuous improvement plan goals: increase math achievement and proficiency, increase ELA proficiency in math, and then increase our average daily attendance for our students. Those are our 3 goals that we've locked in on. And then we're going to look at a moment at this school data sheet. When we talk about key performance indicators, we have key performance indicators for the school level that looks at various data points for us to show us how we are performing, and then that dictates what our goal is going to be by that 2030 time period. So here's the school strategic strategic planning process. Here are the 5 areas that we're going to be digging into over the next 3 months. Reviewing the data, which we've actually already done. We did that with the last meeting. Aligning the mission, the vision, and the purpose. Confirming our 2030 goals. Identifying the 2025 to 2030 strategic objectives. And then approving our plan. So now, here's what we are focusing on today, though. Again, the review of data, aligning the mission and the vision and the purpose, and then confirming the 2030 goals. And again, this is business meeting 2. So in business meeting 1, we reviewed some data. We're going to review a little bit more this evening as well, though. Any questions before I now do a little quick data dig that's going to then take us into our discussion? All right. If there's any questions, just stop me along the way because I know I can talk fast. And as I start getting into it, I can just jump on in. So let me stop sharing this. I want you to see a better version of this right here. Let me stop sharing. Let me pull up a better version of that right there, but it's a clear version, I should say. There we go. And let me reshare. Uh-oh, there we go. Let me reshare my screen, share again. And that is screen 2. Now, this screen that you're looking at now, these are the KPI, the key performance indicators for young middle school. This is our summary. There's a lot of data on here. And again, you're going to have access to all this because you're going to have the presentation. So while I'm not going to dig into all this, I want to point out a couple of things and make sure that we're all able to know what this is basically saying. Just like I talked about that district KPI, our key performance indicator chart, this is the one for Gene Childs Young Middle School. So it talks about math. It talks about every child and attendance and discipline and beyond the core and subgroup data and everything. So let's look at this first one, for example. The category of math. We know that math is one of the goals for the district is that middle schools will increase the proficiency and above for 8th grade students. So right here, here's the metric. The math is a category. The metric is again that 8th grade students will be scoring at proficient or above. That's what we're trying to measure. Right now, our KPI indicator, our key performance 0.7% of our 8th graders at proficient or above for the content of math. That's where we currently sit. That's what this means in this column right here. The 2030 goal change is that we're going to increase that by 20.3%, which means that by the year 2030, we will have 35% of our students, of our 8th grade students, performing at proficient or above in the content of math. As you look over to the right again, the gray area right here, that's young middle school for the gray. Where you see a little lighter gray, right? That's the dark gray. The lighter gray, that's the district performance. So you see a little gap between where we are at young middle school and then the district right there, which looks like it probably is at about a 27 or 28%. But then the red line is where the goal is for 2030. So the reason I point that out is because as you look at the data on here, we want you to look at and consider if there's a large gap between the dark gray and the light gray and then the red, what ultimately the goal is, that shows us how much work we have to do to either meet the district goal and then the 2030 goal. So we have a little bit of work to do there. But now, if you look right here, let me take you to another example. If you look down here for our subgroup, this is a good one to look at right here. Subgroup growth right here where I'm hovering for students with disabilities, we are currently sitting at 61.4% of our students with disabilities with typical or high growth on the milestones. Now, the goal for the district is 72.1. I'm sorry, well, the district goal for us, I should say, excuse me, is 72.1. So as you look at the dark gray right here where young middle school sits, we are pretty much right on top. We're sitting at the same where the district currently sits. So we're like really matching the district right now. And then you see a very small distance between the red and where we are sitting right now, meaning that we have a little bit of growth to do to meet our 2030 goal, but we're pretty much right on target with that because we really did great with our subgroup performance last year. That's what that basically is telling us. So I'm going to pause for a moment. I'm just going to pause and be quiet and want you just to kind of take and peruse. You're going to again see the different categories. You're going to see math. You're going to see the instructional core for different subgroups. You're going to see attendance, discipline, school climate. You're going to see beyond the core and then staff engagement and teacher experience and things like that. And then you're going to see the enrollment and some other things. So I'm going to give about a 1 minute, just literally I'm going to be quiet. And then if there are any questions, please feel free to ask. But I do want you to peruse this because I'm going to come back and then lead this into another discussion that's going to help us kind of land on our 2030 goals. So I'll pause. Any questions, please pop them out. I'm going to set my timer for about 60 seconds and then I'll jump back in from that time at that time.
Excuse me,
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Darlington, can you enlarge this a bit?
I sure can.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And then I'll kind of scroll as I'll leave it here for a second, then I'll kind of scroll down in a couple of seconds to get to that bottom. I'm gonna give about another 15 seconds there. All right. I'm gonna stop that share on this screen, y'all. Is it okay if I stop sharing? Going to call it out if you want me to leave it. I'm about to stop sharing here. Then I'm gonna go back to the presentation real fast. We good with that? Okay. We stop share. And then let me go back to the presentation. Bear with me here. And I'm gonna share slide 2 again. There we go. Okay, so now that's what as you can see, this copy right here is just not as clear as the one that we were just looking at. So those are our key performance indicators, y'all. Again, it shows us where we are right now, the goal that the district has set forth and set for us, and then set forth for us, and then it shows us our gap between the district current performance as well as where we're trying to get for 2030. So I just want you to keep that in mind as well. Just that's going to drive our next conversation. So again, we just talked about this, who we are. We are Atlanta's public school system, and we are here to educate and empower Atlanta students to shape the future. So now, as we look at on the red, as you see highlighted in the red right there, this is our mission, our mission and our vision statement. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this. Here we go. This is the better copy right here. This is our mission and our vision statement right here, y'all. The mission of Gene Charles Young is that the mission is that we are to prepare students to be globally competitive through rigorous and equitable instruction, a continuum of care and services, and active partnerships with parents and community stakeholders. That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying we're doing every day. That's what we thrive and strive to do every single day. Our vision, which is our North Star, which is what we're saying that we're trying to achieve and ultimately trying to get to. The vision is that Gene Charles Young Middle School will be a high-performing IB school of choice where students want to learn, parents and families engage, educators empower students to succeed, and the community collaborates with the school to rebuild the legacy. So think about how that mission and that vision speaks to the who we are for Atlanta Public Schools and the why we exist as far as with Atlanta Public Schools as well. Because now here's what I want us to think about. Here's the question. Is there anybody that thinks, is there any discussion about our mission and our vision not matching with the who we are and the why we exist for Atlanta Public Schools? Because it must be in alignment with that. Our mission and vision should very much match with what the district is saying, the who we are and the why we exist, because that is the mission and the vision. The mission is the who we are, the vision is the why we exist. It's the same thing. So is there anybody who disagrees or think that it does not? Because if so, we need to talk about that. We really do. So let me do this. And I can't see everybody's thumb because my screen is not, I can't see everybody. Give me on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 being, oh man, this nails it. 1 being, oh, this doesn't speak to it at all. 4 being, yeah, this kind of nails it pretty good. And then 3 kind of in the middle and so on and so forth. On a scale of 1 to 5, well, here's my question that I'm going to ask you. How well does our mission and our vision match what Atlanta Public Schools is saying, the who we are and the why we exist? So I'm going to count to 3. Don't look at anybody else on the screen. I want you to put your numbers up and then someone kind of look to make sure that we're not seeing any ones or anything. Help me out with that, someone. But when I count to 3, you're going to put up a 1 to 5 on your hand so we can see it, or you can call it out. But here we go. And does everybody understand what I'm asking you to do? If not, go on and let me know now. All right, 1 to 5. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I can't see anybody else. So can somebody kind of give me what kind of numbers we're looking at?
It's a range. It's a range of numbers from 3 to 5 is what I see.
Gotcha. So 3 being right there in the middle. Are we seeing mostly 3s, mostly 4s, mostly 5s, or kind of a combination of all?
I saw
Mostly
2
4.
5s.
And
Go
mostly
ahead.
4s. Mostly 4s because there was a 4 in the chat.
Gotcha. So a couple of 5s, mostly 4s, and then I guess I'm hearing a 3 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So worst case scenario, then we're saying that we're right there in the middle but mostly that everyone's saying 4 and then a couple of 5s as well that we're doing that. So, okay, so that's good. But because here's what I was going to say. If I was seeing any 1 or 2s, we were about to have a discussion about it because this must match all. If this is not matching, there's really no need for us to go further with any of the other discussion without nailing to make sure that this is landing on that. So I'm glad to hear that we are at 4s, 5s, and then we have the 3, which is putting us in the middle. So awesome. Okay. So with that being said, the next part of the discussion would have been to propose any changes to the vision or the mission. If there's 5s, I know the 5s wouldn't want to change anything. Maybe there's some discussion with the 3 or the 4s even. But is there anyone who would like to have any discussion about possibly changing the mission or the vision? We could do so at this time as well. And I'm gonna give about a 10-second pause to see if there is any discussion about that to make sure I'm honoring that. Okay, hearing none. So there's our mission and our vision. That is actually, just to give you a 10-second historical context, that mission and that vision was changed with the last Go team. It's about 4 years old at this time. It has been changed in the last 4 years or so, so that to be more in alignment with who we thought we are as a school and what we're currently doing and then where we're trying to get. So, okay, awesome. So now our next point is to really confirm our 2030 goals, y'all, based on the data and based on the information that we've seen so far. Because now we're going to extend our continuous improvement plan goals to reach all the way to 2030. Because where we sit right now, those CIP goals or continuous improvement plan goals, they're for the current year, but now we want to start extending them all the way to 2030 because that's what the strategic plan is calling for. Also, we'll identify if there are any additional goals that we want to add. So on the screen, what you see right now, and again, you saw this earlier, these are our current CIP or continuous improvement goals. We are trying, number 1, we are trying to improve our proficient and above in ELA by at least 5% for this current school year. For math, same thing, increasing our math proficiency and above by at least 5% for the current school year. And then for the current school year, increasing our average daily attendance by at least 5% for the current school year. So those are our continuous improvement plan goals. Now, when we talk about the strategic plan goals, you already heard me mention a couple of them. You saw me show you the elementary, middle, and high school. Here's what the proposal is for the strategic plan goals. The first one, by 2030, and again, these are 5 years out. By 2030, the proficient and above for our 8th grade students in math will go from 20.3, will increase 20.3% from 14.7 to 35%. That's very much in alignment with what the district has in store, what the district has stated for us. That's pretty much proposed by the district already. That's been set forth for us already. So that's number 1. But now, in alignment with our continuous improvement plan, I've also added one in here that speaks to the ELA proficiency level. So ELA proficiency for 8th grade will increase 20% from 17 to 37% over the next 5 years. So now that's our math and our ELA goal that, again, is very much in alignment with our continuous improvement plan goal over the next 5-year period. And then also right here, the percent of students not chronically absent. In other words, not chronically absent means a student that is in attendance for 90% of the school days of the school year. 180 school days, which means they can't miss more than 18 days. That's what this means. Students not missing 18 days or more. So that will increase by 15% from 47.1 to 62.1%. That is proposed by the school district based on what our current data is saying. So I didn't create anything or change anything. That's proposed by the school district. And then last but not least, the percentage of students without suspensions will increase 22.8% from 69.2% up to 92% of our students. And ultimately we're trying to get 92% of our students with 0 suspensions. And again, another one that's been proposed by the school district that you would have seen in that KPI or the key performance indicator. So of these strategic plan goals for 2030, the only one that I took and made something that I created one for was ELA, because that's really not one for the strategic plan by the district. I created one for ELA to be in alignment with our math, the other ones which are already showing on our key performance indicators. So now let's consider that. And then I'll go back to that slide in a minute. Based on what our continuous improvement goals are, ELA, math, and attendance, and then go back to this a second, 2030 strategic plan goals, again, ELA, math, attendance, And then discipline, which we know ties to school culture and it also ties to school attendance. Are there any proposals for anything else that we would want to add for our strategic goals as we start talking about the 2025, 2030? Oh my gosh, 2025 to 2030. Are there any additions that anyone would like to see as far as for our goals based on the current SMART goals and the CIP goals and this right here where you see me hovering the KPI or the key performance indicators? Or do we feel like that's pretty much captured it? That's good. Silence is good. I mean, questions are great, but please feel free. So, again, I just want to stress the fact that these goals right here for the 2030, these have been set forth by the district, and we are being challenged to meet these goals. Again, with the exception of that ELA one, which we created in alignment with the math goal. Because in our mind, we know that math, we've always said that for the last few years, that math and ELA are our two focal points to make sure that we're increasing the proficiency in that. We have not deterred from that. So it's interesting now, the district is saying the exact same thing that we've been saying as part of our strategic plan and our continuous improvement plan for the last few years. So, okay, so hearing none. Now, here's what's going to happen. The planning is going to help us to fully uncover our available options. It's going to help us to set our priorities for the school, which we've seen that happen before, and then define the methods to achieve them. So I'm going to pause because I've just said a whole lot real fast because this is more of the introduction into the 2025-2030 strategic plan, because our next meeting and then the one that's the subsequent one from that, we're going to really be digging in deeper and then creating more data and more information, creating more information and more details based on what our data is saying us and telling us rather than what our actions are going to be for the next upcoming 5 years. So are there any questions about any of the data, the continuous improvement plan, or the key performance indicators or the strategic planning for the next few years?
No.
All right, so Sir Chair, if you're okay with it, if any questions come up, just ask. If you're okay with it, I'm gonna take us right through because these are the next couple of items on the agenda. I'll walk us right on through in the presentation if you're okay with it, because these are the next couple of items on the agenda. We actually just got through the meatiest part of the of our whole agenda for tonight. Uniform discussion updates, no major updates. I shared last meeting that we actually did a survey for the students. So the next part now, which we're actually going to engage in, is to engage the students to get them more involved in discussion about the possibility of wearing uniforms for the current school year and beyond. And what that's going to look like, engaging them in a series of surveys and just activities to really get them to get their input and to see what their views are on uniforms. So that's going to be forthcoming, and that's actually already in progress. Our principal's report, I share this with you all every meeting just so you can see where we stand currently. Our projection for this school year was 651. The enrollment as of yesterday, I did not change the date on here. This should have been as of yesterday's date. So I did not change that. The enrollment as of yesterday's date, as we speak, 10/23. Our enrollment as of 10/23, y'all, that's actually 10/22. Was 612 students. That's down 4 students from when we met last month. So we're still pretty much consistent of where we are. We have 4 students. That's not a lot, but we're down 4 students from the last time we met. And you see the grade level breakdown right there. We've lost 1 student in the 6th grade. 7th grade has remained exactly the same. And then we've lost 5 students in the 8th grade. So that's what our attendance was. The enrollment in May of last year when we concluded the year was at 624. So we're about 12 off right now as to where we ended the school year. Now, our average daily attendance, we're at 91.6, which we're actually at an all-time high for this time of the year. We're actually quite high, to be honest with you. We're down 92.3%. We're down from 92.3% as of last meeting, and then the district average is 93.1. So you see the breakdown by grade level as well: 92 for 6th grade, 91.4 for 7th grade, and then 91.5 for 8th grade. But what I will tell you, at this time last year, we were hovering at right about 89.3%, if I'm not mistaken. So we're really making some great strides in that, and it's really hard to get 2 percentage points when we're talking about attendance. I'm really happy to see this, and I think we could actually do some things to increase this. Our suspension rate, we are at 0.43, which means the average student at Young Middle School has 0.43 days of suspension. It doesn't mean that everybody has 0.43s of suspension, but for our 612 kids, the average student has 0.43 days of suspension. Now, at the last meeting, we're exactly identical to where we were at this time at the last meeting. But here's the key thing right here. We're down from 1.69 in 2024, 2025. So we're doing some great work right here with lowering our suspension rate. And I will tell you, and I'm pleased to say, it's not because we're just underreporting, because we report all of our data. We also go through great lengths to make sure that we are addressing the discipline issues that happen in the school. But I do think this speaks to a lot of the great work that's happening with the DEN, with the teachers, with the administrators, and just a lot of folks in the building that are addressing and really diligently working with our students. So again, you see the breakdown by grade level. So that's where we stand as a school as far as our data in the areas of attendance, enrollment, and then suspension data. Now, one update for this right here that I'll give you all, the comprehensive long-range facilities plan, not a whole lot of updates other than there is a meeting coming up on November 10th. The biggest update that I want everyone to be aware of, when we last met, there were two scenarios on the table for the Mays cluster. One would be the schools being realigned the students from that school being realigned and sent to the other 4 feeder schools, or the other one was that there was something with West Manor and Peyton taking place, and with Young Middle School moving to the current Peyton location and then them rebuilding. Bottom line, we've now been taken off the table altogether, and now the sole scenario for the Mays cluster is that Peyton Forest is going to be repurposed, and those students are going to now be rezoned for the other 4 feeder schools. So there's nothing happening with the Young Middle School building or the students being rezoned or anything like that. We're totally off the table altogether now. So just an update on that. There is another meeting on November 10th. The board they'll start sharing the information, and there are some decisions that'll be made during the course of the next couple of months. And then just a cluster update. Everyone, please be aware that the Mays Cluster Health and Wellness Fall Festival is going to take place this Saturday from 12 to 3. Coming out, they're going to have everything from health screenings, haunted house, actual pony rides, which that should be exciting. They're going to have pony rides out there, trunk or treat. So it's going to be a lot of family fun and just a lot of activities going on out there. So please go on out and check it out. I think our cheerleaders are even going to be performing out there. So come on out and check that out as well, y'all. And with that being said, if there are no questions for me, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Hargrove to give us some Big Brothers Big Sisters updates. And I'll say this as she is getting ready to launch in. Big Brothers Big Sisters is our landmark partnership who have been doing just amazing things, serving 300 of our students in the building with fidelity and with excellence, and making a difference in what you saw, some of that data, in our attendance data, as well as in our discipline data, because they have their hands on 300 of our students every single day because they're in the building with us. So now with that being said, Ms. Hargrove, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Garlington. Thank you for your support and for giving Big Brothers Big Sisters an opportunity to talk to the community today. Can I get some thumbs up to see? Can you all see my screen? Okay, yep. Cool beans. All right. Well, as Mr. Garlington said, my name is Jacquees Hargrove. I am the mentoring supervisor for the Big Brothers Big Sisters Level Up program at Young Middle School. And just wanting to share a couple of slides with you all today to give you more information about our program, what our goals are, and our vision is in order to support the goals that Mr. Garlington has just presented to us, let you understand, give you a better understanding of the structure of our program. And then at the end, I'll give you an update to an upcoming event that we have that was mentioned in our previous meeting. So just moving to, actually, before we even get into Level Up, I definitely wanted to start by also giving you all a quick snapshot of other programs that Big Brother Big Sisters has in place to support youth of all ages. If you're familiar with Big Brother Big Sister, just in its basic form, it is a one-on-one mentorship program where individuals sign up to be volunteers, and they serve as what we call bigs, and then they are paired with a young person known as a little, and again, they meet one-on-one more so on weekends and just in a general schedule. So that is our, I guess you could say, flagship model. And then we also have 2 programs that support students under the umbrella of Big Futures. and Beyond School Walls. And those two are programs in place to support students at the high school level. We're fortunate enough to have a feeder high school, Mays High School, that also has the Beyond School Walls program. So even as students leave young, they can continue to receive support from our organization. The only difference is this particular program allows for young people to be paired with professional mentors. So at Mays, for example, their professional partner is Google. And so those students are matched with different professionals from Google representing different departments, where they can connect and get some professional development, support in building a vision for their future, as well as just start to understand what it means to transition from high school into the professional world. And then, of course, we have Level Up. So Level Up is the program that I supervise. This particular program is in place to pair young people with mentors within the building. It is a school-based model, and those students come to the mentors for group or one-on-one mentorship. And the sessions that we have are in place to support our 4 outcome areas: foster conversations and a sense of belonging for students within the building, and enhance their mental health within a structured school schedule. So the way that looks, this is kind of a visual of what we do. So within our building, we have 6 lead mentors. Each of those mentors has a caseload of 50 students or 50 littles. And they will meet with those students either in group format or at one-on-one. So with the 50 students, it typically looks like 8 groups of 5 and 10 individual one-on-ones. And we work with families, so the parents and guardians of these students. We work with the admin at the school, and we actually take in the input of the student to determine if they would like to be in a group setting or if they would prefer to be with their mentor one-on-one. My role within this whole structure is to serve as the liaison between our organization and the school to ensure that everything we are doing is, again, in alignment with what the goals of the school are, as well as to foster communication between the 2 entities, make sure that our schedule and the logistics are running the way they should, and work on recruiting students even when they're in elementary school. So by the time they get too young, they are familiar with the program and eager to join. Again, this is essentially how it works. This is just another snippet of what the responsibilities are of each staff member that is connected to the program. Again, the mentors are trained. We do trainings throughout the year to ensure that we are providing a safe space for all students and executing the program with fidelity. They work full time with the students. So as Mr. Garlington said, each week they do have a touch point with each student. The other unique part about this for lead mentors is the mentor moves with the student. So as the students go from 6th to 7th and 8th grade, their mentor will also move along those grades with them and continue to give them support. Again, my role is to really work as a liaison and make sure the communication between administrators at the young site and staff alike are in alignment with the goals that we have as an organization. And then I have additional leadership, my director and assistant director who have been in the building several times, come to also make sure that we are meeting the needs of the school from the administrator's perspective. And then we also have floaters. Those are subs for our program. It is very intentional and important for us to still have support for students, even if, our staff need to take a day for themselves. So we sometimes have floaters in the building who will still execute programming in the event that their dedicated mentor is out for the day. So programming still happens unless I communicate otherwise on the walkie. So I'm going to talk a little bit about youth impact, or youth and school impact. So for Big Brothers Big Sisters and Level Up specifically, we do have 4 outcome areas that we really focus on, meaning all of our curriculum, all of our efforts, they are in support of those outcomes. The first that I will mention is directly connected to what Mr. Garlington just stated is a goal for us. The first component is sense of belonging. We want to make sure that as students matriculate through young, they feel supported, they have trust, at least one trusted adult that they can come to for support, and that we help foster for them a sense of belonging, so they can join clubs, they can join sports, they feel connected to their teacher and their peers. And really, when they walk through the doors, know that there are people rooting for them. Another outcome is social and emotional well-being. So a lot of our curriculum does allow littles to have an opportunity to figure out not only their feelings and how to process them themselves, but also how to communicate with their peers and adults. So that way they are at all times, or as best as possible, maintaining a healthy social and emotional well-being. Another outcome area, we kind of reframed, and I like it. It's now addressed as making healthy choices. So we work with students to make healthy choices, or what it was formerly described as avoiding risky behaviors. So back again to one of the things Mr. Garland had mentioned, we want to see suspension rates go down. We want to see fewer number of students encountering some discipline incidents where they are out of school or not able to be in the learning environment. So we work a lot with our students and use curriculum to help them think through their choices, think through the consequences that could be there, and how to abstain from different choices and decisions and behaviors that would put them at risk from obtaining the goals that they want to achieve. And then our final outcome is vision for the future. So every grade level each year does a different project that allows them to kind of create a vision for themselves in different tiers. So they look at what kind of things they want to accomplish while in middle school. Then we start talking about high school by 8th grade and envisioning what is it that they would like to achieve or be a part of or start a pathway for as they go into high school. And then of course we talk even beyond there. What do they aspire to do professionally? What do they aspire to do post high school, whether that be college, whether that be trade, or whether that be some other form of them, showcasing their skills and being a valuable citizen in their community. So this slide just gives a couple of data points that have led to us having those outcome areas. I won't touch on all of them, but I do want to note that for mentorship with our program, the things that I really want to highlight: the discipline. When students have reported having a trusted adult or having a mentor, someone that they can confide in and go to help them with their decision making, 88% of students display a reduction or no discipline events at all. So again, we are working to make sure that our students make healthy choices. And as Garlington said, they are present and we're not seeing them outside of the building, but inside where they can continue to learn. And then I also do want to note the mental health and belonging data points, in that, again, when students have that mentor, they feel like they have that trusted adult, which means they have a sense of belonging in the building. And that also leads to them having a decreased number of mental health incidents that could, again, affect their ability to be at their best in the building. So what sets our mentoring program apart from others? Again, it is a curriculum that is designed for those mentors to lead those sessions. And again, all of our lessons do connect to those 4 pillars that I just mentioned. I also is a different mentoring program, again, in that it is school-based, unlike the traditional model for Big Brother, Big Sister, where you might pick up your little and, go to a Hawks game on the weekend or, take them to different events. We're in the building with them every day. And so that is definitely a unique aspect of this mentorship program. We also focus on college and career readiness. So this past summer, we did have our first activity. We're trying to do more field trips and things, but this summer we had a college and career exposure opportunity for students at Young. Those students were able to go to different professional companies and businesses and interact with professionals, and again, help them create a vision for their future. We went to Wells Fargo, we went to XM Radio, Google did some different sessions with us. And we just continue to partner with different entities, even in the building, and that some of these companies are providing us a curriculum to work with the students on. So as it mentions here, both our 7th and 8th grade students will participate in a Wells Fargo-led financial literacy program. In seventh grade, they'll really talk about budgeting and how to, manage their money. And then in eighth grade, they will start to learn more about the stock market and how to build a portfolio and again, like expand their money as they get older. And then as I mentioned again, our mentors aren't necessarily just volunteers, they are hired for this position and they are trained to do this position. So some of the trainings that we have done before and will continue to do restorative practices training and conflict resolution to be able to minimize, again, the incidents where students are, feeling so worked up that they are now potentially going to make unhealthy decisions. So talking to them about how to deal with conflict and how to restore relationships with their peers and adults as they move forward. And then we do a lot of trauma-informed trainings, safety and wellness trainings, and more, just to make sure that as we are in the building, we are supporting staff in efforts to, again, create a safe environment where students can learn. This is a picture from the summer excursion. So we were actually able to not only get students from Young Middle School, hopefully you see some familiar faces there, but we also pulled students from Price Middle School, Bunch Middle School, Herman J. Russell, and Lithonia Middle. And again, took them to different locations throughout the summer, having them do different projects and again, engage with different professionals that care about their development and want to see them succeed. So again, we hope to do that again this summer. We will do this again this summer. The hope is that we can do it with more students than we did before. Additional information, just wanted to share. Again, I tried to give some high level data in regards to our outcomes and some numbers to show what that impact looks like. If you are curious at all about some of the other data that we have, we not only track students' attendance, we track their behavior to see, are they improving on a behavior scale and then making those healthier decisions. We track, I mentioned attendance. We do also track academics. So we look at their MAP scores. When those are taken, we also look at failing grade reports. So that way, again, as we are with them in session, we can help them set goals and find resources that they or their families may need to make sure that they are showing up as their best. So we have a level up impact report. We have a more detailed impact report that's going to talk about more than just Young, but our other middle school sites. Again, that financial literacy program that Wells Fargo has been doing with our 7th and 8th grade students, there's more information there if you'd like to see how that impacted them, especially from an academic standpoint, and even a vision for their future and thinking through what kind of career they would like and type of life they would like to live and how they can make decisions now that will help them prepare for that. And then again, the summer excursion impact report, if you'd like a little bit more visibility into the companies we've worked with before to give those students that exposure experience and see again what their takeaways were, as well as the families that allowed them to participate. So that is really the end of my presentation. Again, the only other thing I wanted to note for Big Brothers Big Sisters at Level Up program at Young, as mentioned in our former meeting, we are going to have a family and friend event next Tuesday from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. At Young Middle School. The intent for this event is to give families an opportunity to meet their mentors or the mentor that is working with their student, so they can also get an understanding of our program, have a chance to speak directly to the trusted adult who is working with them, and build rapport and relationships, so that way we have a better understanding of how we need to support them. And then to also kind of give a real-time experience that mimics what the students do when they were with us. So we will be doing some check-in and connect activities. We'll have some fun games, and that will, again, hopefully provide more information to families so they will know what we do, how we're here to support, and how we are also in alignment with the goals of Young Middle School. So that's all I have, Mr. Garlington. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, or when we get to the Q&A portion, I'm happy to answer more.
Ms. Hargrove, that was awesome. And I just want to highlight the fact that when we talked about our 2030 goals, we talked about discipline, we talked about attendance, we talked about math and ELA improvement. So by having students feeling connected, everything she just talked about ties directly to our current SIP goals, continuous improvement plan goals, as well as the 2020-30 strategic plan goals. And then I'm gonna be quiet and pass it back over to Sir Chair here. But when you look at 83 to 92% of students feeling more connected or a sense of belonging, lower discipline, better mental health, and better decisions, that's 240 to 270 students at Young Middle School. That's what that translates to as far as enough. So you can start seeing what the impact there is. So Ms. Hargrove, thank you for sharing that, and thank you for what y'all do every single day. We really appreciate you. So that concludes the presentation portion of the meeting. Sir Chair, I will hand it back over to you to carry us through the agenda, and then yeah, we'll go from there.
All right, thank you, Mr. Garlington. All right, does anyone have any other announcements?
Yes, I do. Good evening. We had ICANN Engineering yesterday, which focuses on STEM for our young ladies and women of color. Atlanta Gas and Light, they came and they sponsored that event for us, for our young girls, and taught them how to build LED lights. We also have an event tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow morning, I should say, another one with Big Brothers Big Sisters, which is going to be the Emerging 100. And then we have next Thursday, we're going to have another STEM activity with our students in the building too, just to let you guys know what's going on. And also, please don't forget to come to the Maze Cluster Fall Festival this Saturday.
Thank you, Ms. Pryor. All right. We have reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business at this time? May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Ms. Pryor is motioning to adjourn the meeting.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Say aye.
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 All
Aye.
opposed, please raise your hand. Any abstentions? Please raise your hand. All right, the meeting is adjourned.
Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir, Principal Garland. Thank you.
See y'all
Thank you.
soon.
Hold
Later.
on, don't close it, Mr. Garlington. Ms. Roberts, are you still there?
Let me stop the
I
recording.
am. Hi, how are you?
Yes. And
Okay.
let me get us off of the live stream.